Hey everyone, nerdygymbros here. Today we're talking about the two different directions we'd like to see the Witcher series go. For the first one that I'd like to talk about is Ciri as the main protagonist. I love Ciri's character. Everything about Ciri is amazing.
Yeah, if you follow Ciri, the thing that would be cool with Ciri would be to follow it after the third game rather than...
Oh, that's what I mean. I guess that needed context.
Yeah, so the Ciri game could be her traveling between worlds and stuff like that.
Yeah, which would be awesome too. But what I'd like to see with it is to take place after the ending of The Witcher 3.
That's how I would want it to happen, but yeah.
Well, I know because people chose different things and whatnot, but
that would be the only problem that I think there would be with that.
Well, they need to get over it.
But why Ciri would be one good way to take it would just and to be taking it post Witcher 3
being a badass.
Other than her being a badass, it's just post Witcher 3. If you follow that way, at least then she's not having to outrun the Wild Hunt, and we don't have to tell the Wild Hunt story over again. Not that the Wild Hunt wasn't an interesting story. I thought Wild Hunt was one of the game itself. It was one of the best games I've ever played. But why, to me, it would be better to do it off of the Witcher path ending with her would be because you could still have her transport to different worlds, like whatever kind of threat she's facing.
She has more control of her power anyways after The Witcher 3 ends and everything. So.
Yeah. And as far as we know, that she'd still be able to transport between worlds. But the only way I would want to see her transporting between worlds is because the reason why she came back to Geralt and Yennefer and Triss and everything was because she missed them. And, I mean, obviously the White Frost and that kind of stuff, as well as the main ties of the main game. But, so to me, she wouldn't really be traveling to other worlds in the next Witcher game. It would be taking place in the Witcher universe. But you could still have her go to different worlds, like whatever threat she's facing, have it be, instead of, like, it wouldn't just be a story about her, traveling and taking Witcher contracts. It would have an overarching big story like Wild Hunt, Assassins of Kings and stuff.
Right.
With Witcher contracts as a side thing, with obviously, when we say side quest with that, it's not just like a little stupid side quest, it's actually this long involved thing where you're actually
investigating. But that's what they do.
And that's what I think is cool about it, but you could have her still travel between worlds to like escape a threat or something, which would then allow you to, then have like that really cool moment where in Witcher 3 where you're traveling with Avallac'h through those other portals to see all these different worlds.
Because she didn't need to find one, she could just think of a place and gone.
But yeah, to me a Ciri game would be pretty cool. Just because I like Ciri's character a lot. I mean, we didn't really, prior to the third one, we didn't know a lot about Ciri as a character because we haven't read the books, so eventually I would like to read the books.
We're going to.
But
spoiler alert, we're going to.
But following Ciri to me would be cool just because Ciri was a really cool character. And it would also, following Ciri post Witcher 3, would then give you a chance to like see Geralt or Yennefer or Triss or Dandelion or Zoltan or any of the people that you met in the Witcher series that were part of Geralt's little circle. And they wouldn't have to be, it wouldn't have to be these giant game-taking moments where, all of a sudden you take control of Geralt again or whatever, it wouldn't need to be something of that magnitude. It could just be like little cameos or a few scenes or whatever between them. I think that'd be cool, just because the Witcher series and Geralt, Yennefer, and Triss, and all of them were such a big tie first series that it'd be cool to be playing as Ciri and then instead of seeing them from Geralt's point of view the entire time, seeing them from Ciri after traveling as a Witcher or sometime. Because depending on who you romance, you either ended up in Kovir with Triss and still taking Witcher contract, or Geralt was still taking Witcher contracts now and then, or Yen, you went and found or technically
there's Toussaint.
Technically, you basically ended up making camp in Toussaint, and
which was brilliant.
Which would be an awesome ending. Anyways, that's how my Geralt story ended, at least in yours did as well. But I think it'd be cool not just talking about an overall story part of it, but just to see cameos from Ciri's perspective of Geralt, of
Right.
Yenna, Triss, and all them. Granted,
Like the first thing I'd love to do with Ciri would be to start in Kovir, because that's a place we've.
just not making it so that Geralt was the one that romance.
No,
chose.
it doesn't have to be that way. I
Just
think
'cause
it'd be a
gets-
cool thing, like to add in, like give you an option, like to add in. All right, who did
I think
Geralt
that would
romance?
be a
What
cool thing to
what
do.
was the ending of your game, or whatever. The
Which is
case
kind of
may
how
be.
they did in the third one.
Right.
What decision did you make in Witcher
For
2,
this-
basically?
mhm.
Did Letho live? Did you
Right.
side with Yorvith or Vernon? Granted, I would like to see Yorvith and Saskia have some kind of story
Right.
thing within it, but I was cool with just seeing Letho again and Vernon. But
Yeah.
I think that would be
He's a
cool.
bit more bitchier, I thought.
Who, Vernon?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was bitchier. But it'd be cool for a Ciri game to allow you to have that kind of scene where it's like, where you could either pick a default thing that they choose for you, whatever
Right.
their default world is, or you can, make whatever choices. I don't want it to be Witcher 4. I want.
No, I want. To me, and I think the game developer said as well, like Geralt's story is over.
Yeah, I want Geralt's
Which-
story to not. I don't want it to, force.
I love
Geralt.
how it. I love how it ended, and
Yeah.
I just.
I don't want to. To me, the ending of the Witcher series is not only how the Witcher 3 ended in Blood and Wine with
Right.
Yennefer and everything, but that one celebratory video that they released
Yeah, I absolutely love that when
uh,
everybody was there.
when everybody was in Geralt's house. That to me,
I've never gotten choked up from something like that before. All of a sudden they did like.
but with seriously, I think it'd be cool to have the ability to choose who to Geralt romance. Pick specific
Right.
choices, but don't make it Witcher 4
Mhm.
where it's following exactly from the end of The Witcher 3.
And I think it'd be cool to be like 10, 15, maybe even 20 years tops,
Yeah.
obviously, because I don't
know
Ciri's
how
not a
many.
Witcher. Well, she is a Witcher, but she doesn't have
Well,
the
she has
mutations.
the
That's what
elder blood, so she.
Oh yeah, she
probably-
does. She probably does live very long then. That's a good point.
But cool to not follow the Witcher. Don't make it Witcher 4 just being Ciri instead the entire time. Make it Ciri's own story, but if you're gonna have Geralt, and all of them within
This
it,
needs to be special appearances.
yeah, have it be special appearances, but give the player the choice to choose what path Geralt ended up taking
Mhm.
with who if he
But
romanced
obviously
her.
that X's out Ciri dying.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about all the choice. That's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
if you're doing a serious story, don't make it, every single
Every
choice that
game.
Geralt had to make within the last game. Just make it so it's simple choices. If you're gonna have cameos of Geralt, again, Triss, Dandelion, Zoltan, and all them, give it cameo for their cameo roles. Have
Who is King of Skellige or
yeah, those
something
kind
like
of
that.
just little tiny things like if it's gonna take you back to Skellige, have the option to choose who Geralt helped become the king or queen of Skellige, and who did he romance? Just little type, or like did you kill Radovid, or
Right.
what?
Oh yeah, Radovid died.
Yeah, obviously.
Radovid died.
And granted, with the Radovid stuff, you could actually, in a way, use that as story stuff where you'd have to pick a specific. The developers would have to pick a specific
Story that they
ending,
wanted to
whether
tell.
it was killing Radovid, whether it was allowing Dijkstra to kill Vernon and them and continue the war, or handing it over to Emperor, or that's killing Radovid, or letting Radovid live and letting the war rage on.
Because Emperor Emir ends up dying in one of the choices. I just don't remember
Yeah.
which one it was.
So, if that part of the story took any role within the next one, they would have to make a decision on that themselves, just because that would, if it was a main arcing story. Otherwise, it could be once again just like a little cameo reference of something, and we're just a state of the world dialogue thing between either random people or conversation.
Right.
You'd have that choice. But at the same time, the more I talk about it, it's like I don't want a lot of the story arcs from The Witcher 3 to be main central points of
No,
Ciri's story. I would want
right.
a Ciri game to have its own unique story, and I would only want Geralt them as like little cameo roles. I wouldn't.
Well, that's
want
what I say. Like, when it gets down to the choices revolving, like what things would come over, I think it should be these little things like included Geralt romance, where little things like that. I don't think it should be like this overarching. What happened?
Yeah, just because that would make it Witcher 4, and I think I don't want a Ciri game to be Witcher 4. I want a Ciri game to be a different
Entity.
I want to, still involve the characters of
Mm-hmm.
the Witcher universe. I just don't want it to be a continuation of the Witcher 3 and just only through Ciri's perspective, and still it's really Geralt's story that has.
That's what I was saying. Like,
effects on
if it had, to me, it should take place like 10, 15 years after the ending of it, just because that gives Ciri time to distance herself at the
Yeah.
same time.
And become a better known Witcher
Mm-hmm.
at that point.
Witcher.
But it'd be cool for it to, because I don't know if we ever taken place in Kovir, because we didn't play the first one, but
I don't think it does. I
it'd
think
be
it's like,
cool to see Kovir.
well, I mean, obviously that's where Triss was going, but I mean, you heard a lot of like how beautiful it was
Yeah,
and
that's
everything. So
why-
it's like that's what in my first.
And they have-
That's where we have to start. That is the first
and
city,
they have like
town.
mountains and
Yeah.
cold, definitely cold. There was another place I swear that they always mentioned.
Well, there's Zakenia, the desert, but I think that was
And there was
on the
Arcania.
opposite end of the Mirror's Empire or something.
Wasn't there some like? Wait, no, that was.
There was like places in the mountains and everything, and other places.
Yeah, but I think it'd be cool for it to take place in Kovir, or just start in Kovir. I mean, because if they're going to make it,
I think it was like for some reason, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think it was like an island more or less, like kind of like separated from the
like a
mainland.
Skellige kind of thing.
Well, not really a Skellige.
Not a
but-
Skellige, just in the general sense that it's not part of the main.
Yeah. It's
Because they
kind
have
of its own
a boat
entity.
to it.
Right.
Uh,
So that was my point. So I mean, it's kind of offshore anyway. So I mean, from there, I mean, you go north, you can go south. I mean,
yeah.
there's so much that to me, there's so much they can do.
Yeah, and with the way games are, it's always, how big do we make the last one? Now let's go a little bit bigger with the next one. And I don't want the next one to be, here's the entire Witcher world, just because, to me, when they work with more constrained
Yeah,
zones,
you're able to tell better
you're
stories.
able to tell better stories.
Granted, Witcher
it's
3 was
not-
fucking massive though.
Oh yeah, but even though it was massive, we never had the problem of getting lost
Right.
in the world and losing sight of the
The
story,
story.
which we've had and we've talked about in different
Mhm.
videos with different games where they've filled the
I spent so
Oh.
much time out in the world,
I
I
spent-
completely forget and lose all attachment to the story.
yeah, where with Geralt's story, even though because we did end up spending huge amounts of time not doing the main story. I mean, you're doing all these side quests, the Witcher contracts, all that kind of stuff. But even though you're doing that, it was still story-based stuff, and it was still investing you in Geralt's character and Geralt's journey
Right.
of trying to find Ciri.
Honestly, the best game of all time. I'll say it. You don't have to, but I'll say it.
But that's why I'm anti, make it the entire Witcher universe world, just because, to me, if they would make it the entire Witcher universe, it would be, you would run into the problem of fetch quests and pointless things that don't need to be
Yeah,
in
can you
it.
go collecting some mushrooms?
Yeah, pointless things that don't need to be within the Witcher world.
Right.
And playing as Ciri, who's an established character within the Witcher world, like Geralt is within the books before it was the game and everything, and I mean Ciri and all of them are all from the books, but playing as Geralt, who's the main character of the books, I mean you had an established character from that. And now with Ciri, even for people who haven't read the books,
Well, the thing is, she already has an established character, but
I don't know, she already has an established character within the books, but now for the people that have only played the third game, or, because, I mean, I'm sure there's some people that just jumped right into the WoW, and they didn't play the second or the first game, or they had never read any of the books. Like, we never read the books before we played the second game,
right.
and then the third game. So, with Ciri being already an established character, what little good thing that you have out of a Ciri established character thing is
You more or less have a personality to work with.
you have a personality to work with, a person who has their specific morality.
Mhm.
Granted, the player then can, shift and make it how they want Ciri to be, whether that's talking about who she falls in love with, or who does she, allow a cat school. That's always the one I go back to with Witcher 3. Do you let the cat school guy that murdered the entire village go because he got stabbed by a pitchfork. Because
I may have lost my temper a little. Really, I couldn't count the bodies.
Or do you kill him because, yeah, maybe killing the person that, pitchforked him and everything is fine, but, slaughtering the entire village except one girl. So, like, you can then, from that point with a Ciri character who already has history, has, from the third game, just for people that have only played the game, has history from the third game, and, you can then choose her morality from that point on with those
choose her actions.
Choose her actions. Yeah. Choose. You still have the player choice where Geralt is still Geralt within the Witcher series, but you choose what kind of Geralt he is in a way. It's
whether it's an honorable Geralt, no, keep the changer. Come on,
pay up, or being an asshole to Ciri and letting her die. Why you would do that? It's beyond.
I honestly believe you have to try to get a shitty ending.
I think you really do need to try to get a shit. You don't need to try to get a shitty ending.
No, you're going for it.
You have
you're either going for it or you're just that much of an asshole of a person.
But you could do that with a Ciri at the same time. Before we get to the other one that we want to talk about, you could do a Vesemir.
Which I know you're gonna have some disagreements anyways, but go on with what you're saying.
But you could have a Vesemir game as well, where instead of taking place pre or post Witcher 3, obviously you can't, but go back in time to when he was a young man, and once again you have an established character who you bonded with at least in the third game if you haven't read the books, and you know how his relationship with Geralt is, and you can go back in time to when Vesemir was younger.
Well, my only problem with doing that, and I liked Vesemir's character a lot, but my problem with it is I already know his fate.
Well,
Ciri's fate is still...
Yeah, I wasn't saying that that's the option that I would like to have. I was just saying you could do literally a Vesemir game and follow him when he's a younger man.
Because, what the hell is his name? The one who ends up with Ciri Metz? What?
Oh, Lambert?
Yeah, I could never play as Lambert. That would drive me up a fucking wall. He's such a prick.
Lambert just needs to be a character that's in the universe, not the person you play. It's just because Lambert is unique and...
He's such a dick.
He's a dick.
He's such a dick. I like Eskel. Eskel I thought was really cool.
Eskel is one that you could play as who...
Okay, so if we're talking about old characters, would you play a Letho game?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yes. That's not even a question.
It just popped in my head. I'm sitting there going through my head. I could never play a game as Lambert. He's too much of a dick. Eskel.
I could play a game as Eskel.
I could play a game as Eskel. Then I thought about Letho. That gigantic meathead.
I would play a game as Letho. Definitely. Just because Letho...
He was from the Viper School, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was from the Viper School. And why I would play as Letho is just because...
He's gray. He's not white or black. He's completely...
He's another Geralt to me.
Yeah,
in that sense, because you could turn Letho either into the merciless
assassin that everybody saw him as,
or you could, not, I say soften him up, but not, make him a teddy bear. You couldn't do like romance story with romance story with Letho.
No, I was just saying with Letho character. I mean, you think about in the second one how he protects Triss. Yeah. And then how they protect Geralt in the first one or something.
They traveled with him because he saved them or something like that.
So I mean, he does have not a soft side, but he does have that. And compassion's too strong of a word for Letho, but I mean, even look at when he gives the money to Kit and Barn and everything. I mean, he does have morality. I guess is what it is. He's not
despite the mutations that make him emotionless. He does have some.
I always thought that was ridiculous when they said, "We're witches. We don't have feelings." I'm like, Geralt, you're lying. I have seen a bunch of emotions from you to happy Geralt, angry Geralt,
but the thing
indifferent Geralt.
I think the thing with the Witcher mutations, one is just gossip bullshit, but I think at the same time, it's that they feel the intense spectrums of emotions. They don't have. I mean, you have the middle ground of they don't really care. And then you have the righteous fury and the ability to fall in love and
righteous fury.
Yeah. where you have, the Butcher of Bloodkin, or you have Geralt, the one who...
Sir Geralt. I was trying to think of the ridiculous name, something of Buckthorn, I think.
Where you have the Geralt that, really cares for Ciri for Yen,
Right.
for Triss, you know, for
whomever.
that he's interacted with. I think Ciri in general as a character,
I like to play Ciri more than any other.
I would like to play Ciri.
You know, I mean, you look at Vesemir, you look at Eskel, Lambert, Letho.
I would like to see Lambert again in a game, but
I'd love to see Lambert again, but
because no matter what you say, he doesn't change. He's still an asshole.
I don't think he said one harsh thing about Ciri. I mean, he was a dick to Yennefer. I don't think he said anything nasty about Triss. Not to my memory, anyways.
I'm sure he managed some comment.
Yeah.
Called her Marigold, so I mean he wasn't a Triss. Yeah, we're like best friends.
Yeah.
But that's the cool thing about Lambert is that he wasn't.
He really doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't. He's one of those
Lambert
people-
doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, Lambert doesn't.
We can't even count how many. Know how many fucks Lambert gives?
Can't even count him.
Can't even count. 0.
But Lambert to me would just be a character that I want to see
You'd
again.
rather
It's
just-
just not a character I want to play as.
Right.
Eskel, I could play as Eskel just because.
He was a lot like Geralt,
Yeah.
and I just liked his cool demeanor.
Yeah, I could play as an Eskel, definitely with where his story ended with
He was
Vesemir
just leaving. Yeah.
He was just leaving and going off to, you know, wherever. I
I
forget.
forget,
He
he had
had
a specific location.
Wasn't he going to Kovir, or did he come from Kovir?
I think he came from Kovir, but I think he was going to like a war area where they had a lot of work, and he was thinking like there's gonna be a lot of necrophages and shit. I can't remember.
But I would be interested in playing Eskel. I would be interested kind of in a Vesemir. Granted, I like Vesemir a lot, just once again we know where his fate ends up, and I don't. And while it'd be fun to play as a young him, I don't want to. I'm not a prequel kind of person.
Neither.
Where
I feel
once
like
you give it a character a fate, you know.
that's my problem with Vesemir. Is like I already know. It's like no matter how cool you can make Vesemir,
It's like people that want like to go back to the First Contact War with Mass Effect. It's just
I have no interest in going back to
it
Milky
wasn't
Way.
really-
The thing to me, the Milky Way was Shepard's story.
Yeah.
And we've done Shepard's story. It was fantastic. And now we went to Andromeda. Now from here we need to make Andromeda awesome.
Yeah, and I don't want to go back to First Contact War just because it's.
It lasted 6 months.
It was like
or
6
something
months
like
or
that.
something.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long of a thing. It's just, you know, you're fighting Turians. It's like humans versus Turians. There's not
There's
much.
no interest
There's no interest to me
to
there.
me at all.
Which is why with Vesemir, it's like, I don't really. See
Yeah, it's like I like Vesemir as a character.
I like him a lot,
I don't want to play as him.
I don't want to go back in time knowing that he's gonna end up sacrificing
Yeah.
himself.
So like I said, like we were talking about though, I mean, I think the best choice
Would be a
if we're
Ciri.
going to pick a character who's already established, it needs to be Ciri. So we can literally name this Ciri's Adventures because
I think you could have a lot of fun with Kovir. I agree with going to Kovir or making Kovir at least one area.
to me, I
that
think
you
it'd be a
can
cool.
work in.
I think it'd be a cool place to start in, kind of like those places are too big. I was gonna say no, because I was
White
trying to.
Orchard.
No, that place is too small. I was thinking more of like a Novigrad, but like a sprawling, like to me a good portion of Kovir needs to be this sprawling, beautiful city. Tucson. Like how Tucson was. When you walked in Tucson, you're like, holy hell, this is different. But then when you left Tucson, you had all the
Tucson was
greenery
like
and
its
the
own
mountains.
huge map. Though.
Well, yeah,
So
that's what I mean. I mean, like to me,
depending
Kovir,
on how much you do in Kovir would depend on how big or small,
Yeah.
whether it's a White Orchard size where you're literally just in the city,
Right.
or if it's a
And so
or if it's
I
a
guess
huge
that
part
was
of
a
the
good
game.
thing. Alright, so Kovir to me should be like the size of Tucson.
Have we been to Temeria, or was that what the second game was?
That was the second game.
Alright, I just wanted to make sure.
For Ciri's Adventures, I'd like to see it, the first starting place being Kovir, and then from there, I mean, anywhere.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think it'd be really cool to
They'd
run
have
into
to pick-
past characters, like to me, like towards the ending, I think it'd be really, or even halfway through, I think it'd be really cool to run into like Triss or Yen or any of them. I really
Here in
think.
Kovir, you're gonna run into Triss.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. But so I think the main characters, but like people like Geralt, Yen, Triss, Dandelion, Zoltan, and them, they should all make an appearance in the game. But it really needs to be focused on Ciri and her story and whatever her conflict
And they
is.
can have parts in her story and her conflict. I
Oh,
just don't
absolutely.
want them.
I don't want it to be this overbearing thing.
Yeah,
Where
I
that could even be a choice where they're sitting there, hey Ciri, let's do this, and here's Ciri, like trying to not tell her. Yeah, I guess it would be telling, like more or less like trying to guide her, and she at the same time she's her own independent individual.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Ciri, that was Ciri's character, so
Yeah.
she wanted to be independent. She
Mhm.
wanted her freedom, really,
Right.
because she was, tied to the elder blood. So I think Kovir would be really cool just to see what Kovir looks like, what they could do with making a Kovir.
And plus, you have the place where they were going to bring Geralt to buy the boat.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
Ophir.
Ophir, where the Ophiri are from.
Mhm.
I think that would be.
That would be cool. Because I
Because
really
one of
like.
the people you talked to, I think he was one of the merchants, talking about how beautiful and how the spires are something you've never even seen before. So I mean, I think that'd be another cool place you could go and visit as Ciri.
Just encountering them in Hearts of Stone DLC, the merchant group, and then the ones that were trying to kill you for killing the prince.
It wasn't entirely our fault.
Wasn't our fault, but just those small encounters, I was like, okay, I would like to see more of these specific people in their land, because they just had an air of
It was I would say an air of regal.
regality and mysticism in a way, but
Yeah.
theirs was a science.
Plus, they still have the mages too.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the one guy who was a pain in the ass. I will disappear in sand.
But I think that would be another cool land to go with Ciri, especially. Or just with anybody, but Ciri is.
We're talking the person we want to see the most is Ciri. So I mean,
I would like to see Kovir, because I don't think we've been there yet, and I would like to see Ophir as another place that we would go to, just because the small encounters we had with people from there, I loved thoroughly.
Absolutely.
I love the way that they speak. I love.
And then you look at the one guy that
clothing.
you put a lot of coin and stuff into the stuff that he could create. I mean, they were way ahead of the people in Novigrad. Not Novigrad, was it Novigrad?
Yeah, Valheim, Novigrad, Skellige.
Yeah, so to me, I thought they were way ahead of the
But I would,
people we were with.
just because of those small attractions, I would definitely like to see that as one of the locations that you would go to in Ciri. And just, I don't know what kind of story I'd want told with Ciri as a Witcher. Like, I don't have any particular.
Because obviously it's not like the end of the world type thing like the Witcher would be. So to me, it'd be more personal. Maybe it's maybe vendetta or revenge, because revenge is always great.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't know. I mean,
you still have the one crone left that killed.
That's
that
right.
took the medallion. That could be one portion of.
Yeah, that could be a portion of Ciri finally
And
getting Vesemir's medallion back.
And the mysticism of the crones and everything.
Yeah. But the thing is that the Witcher world, I mean,
there's so much
to do in it. I mean, you look at all the different things we've been talking about. I mean, there's so much story you can tell. I mean, so I would love to see Ciri's adventures for it.
Definitely. And I would love to see Kovir and Ophir with her.
Absolutely.
Toussaint again.
I'd love to go back.
I would not have no problem going back to Toussaint at all, just because.
Even to visit Geralt.
Yeah, even if
it could be the ending of the game.
Yeah.
Have a mission about going. I was trying to think of a mission name, but it just gone. But you end up going to Toussaint and meeting up with Geralt. I think that would be a really awesome way to end the game. But that's just me. So that really ends the first part of this video where we're talking about Ciri's adventure. Make sure you tune in for part 2 where we talk about creating your own Witcher. So make sure if you enjoyed this video you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe to our channel for more video game content, and make sure that you leave a comment down below to let us know what video game series you'd like to see us talk about next. So this is nerdygymbros signing off.